Hi, I'm Erin, and this is the flower stitch tutorial. I'm going to be demonstrating this on hooped fabric because my chacos are already embroidered, and honestly, it's just easier to demonstrate these stitches on a static hoop. I'll be using 3 strands of embroidery floss and using a back stitch for the stems. Start by bringing your needle up a stitch's length up the stem and press your needle down at the very bottom. I wrapped my first stitch around the edge of the strap, so it kind of looks like it's growing out of the strap. So you'll bring your needle up a stitch's length away from your previous stitch and then push your needle down where your previous stitch ends. This is a back stitch. It's the most basic of embroidery stitches. So you'll advance up the stem, bring your needle up again, pull your needle and thread through the fabric, and then push your needle down where your previous stitch ends. And that is the stem stitch. I'm sorry, the back stitch of the stem. I did try using a stem stitch for the stems and it just wasn't coming out right on the webbing. For the leaves, we're going to use a lazy daisy stitch. So you'll bring your needle up at the base of the leaf and then push your needle back through the same hole you just came up from. That's going to create a loop. Then you'll bring your needle up at the tip of the leaf and drape the loop over that stitch or the needle. And then pull your needle and thread to cinch the loop shut, and then press your needle down through the fabric on the other side of the loop to tack it down into place. And you'll do the same thing on the other leaf. I feel like when I explain it, I make it sound more complicated than what it is, but it's not. It's very simple. We'll be using the same stitch for the flower petals of this flower. Again, we'll be using a back stitch for the stem of this flower. For the leaves of this flower, I used a satin stitch. It's a series of straight stitches that are side by side. So I come up at the tip of the leaf and then push my needle down at the base of the leaf. And then I advance down the line on either side. You can go either way. Bring my needle up on the line and then push it down at the base of the leaf. And I'll do it until that side is filled in, and then I'll go to the opposite side and bring my needle up just a little bit further down from where that center stitch is. And that's all you're really doing, is just going down a little bit further with each stitch to create that rounded tip. For this leaf, I'll bring my needle up at the tip and then push it down in the center at the bottom or the base. And then I'll bring my needle up again on either side, just a little further down on the line. And then I'll push my needle down through the same hole that my first stitch went down on. And then my next stitch I'll bring up and then push down in that same hole again. And you'll get a leafy stitch, a more teardrop kind of shape. For the petals of this flower, we're using lazy daisies, the same stitch we used for the leaves of the first flower. So you'll bring your needle up at the base of a petal and push your needle back down through the same hole, making a loop. Then bring your needle up at the tip of the petal, drape your loop over the tip of the needle, bring your needle up, cinch that loop closed, and then push your needle down on the other side of the loop. For the next flower, we'll be using the French knot. Bring your needle up on one of the dots. Then overlap your needle to your thread, making a cross. And then wrap your needle twice with your thread for this knot. And then push your needle down back on the dot, but not the same hole that you came up from. You'll pull your knot through your fabric. And then gently pull your working thread to move that knot down your needle to the surface of the fabric. And then you can push your needle or pull your needle the rest of the way through, but keep control over that working thread so it doesn't catch on itself. We'll do it again. Bring your needle up, overlap your needle to your thread, wrap, push your needle down, back on the dot, cinch that knot down to the surface of the fabric. You'll get the hang of it. If you're not familiar with this knot or you struggle with it, practice makes perfect. Wrap, wrap, push your needle down back on the dot, pull that thread, move the knot down the needle onto the fabric, and then pull the needle the rest of the way. And the last flower is getting lazy daisy petals. And to finish off the flowers, they will be getting French knots in the center. The first two flowers will get one double wrapped French knot in the center, and the last flower will get a little cluster of single wrapped French knots there at the top.